I want to encourage you about a few things. And this has to do with the assignment that many of you have been working on, and I've had conversations with several of you, and it's the one that has to do with the surveys. So if you were in remember our Lead Like Jesus book? If you're in our Lead Like Jesus book, those surveys start on chapter 17, developing your compelling vision. And the first page kind of looks like this, and it's where you're kind of picking out some words. You're trying to determine what your vision is, what you're good at, what you like. And then it goes on to your core values. So what's important to you? And core values, like, is truth important? Wisdom important? Is freedom important? What's important to you? So it's things like that. And then there's it goes on to talk about your goals. All right. Now, so that's that from the book. And then I gave you those worksheets. And let me share this with you. I gave you those worksheets. One is called the burden survey, and one is called the passion survey. The passion survey, since I'm on this screen, starts with, what are you really good at? What do people tell you you're good at? What comes naturally to you without even trying? What have you been good at since you're a child? And so forth and so on. It asks you those questions. And then on the burden survey, it's asking you, what brings tears to your eyes? It's asking, if you had a lot of money, what would you do with it to help others? All of these questions, both the questions from the book and from the surveys, are to help you figure out what truly makes you tick, what really is the thing that God has commissioned you on this earth to do. We're as a leader, let me start there. As a leader, it is very important that you figure out who you are, what you would be doing, what, if it's one thing, and usually one good thing is really all you need. What one problem in the earth would you give your life to serve, bringing a resolution to, bringing comfort to, bringing answers to? If you could only choose one, what would it be? And sometimes what that one is one thing today, and it's something else in a couple of years. But what is it? What do you really, if you had to choose one ministry, what would it be? If you had to pick one way to serve humanity, what would it be? And the questions on the surveys help you to zero in on what would it be. As you're coming into leadership, most of us, it doesn't apply to everyone, but most of us are accustomed to following a certain specific vision and not really having to put a lot of thought into what is it that really is my mandate from the Lord? What is the mission God has given me? What is the thing that will push me out of bed every day? A lot of times we just say, well, whatever it takes to help people, or we default to the things that are being talked about a lot in the media or in the church, wherever. I'd give my life to serve homelessness. If you would give your life to serve homelessness, you wouldn't have to wait for someone to create an organization to fight homelessness. If you would give your life to serve homelessness, it would be such a burden, okay? Such a burden, hence the name burden on the burden survey. It would be such a burden. It would bring such tears to your eyes that you would have to do something about it. If you see no one else doing something to fix the homelessness problem, you would be working on it in one way or another. Even if it's a very small, minuscule way, you would be working on it. And sometimes these things do burden us, and things do bring tears to our eyes. But as when you're not in a leadership role, you sometimes think you have to wait for someone who is the leader or a leader to start it so you can join in. What we're trying to do with these surveys is transition you from that point of view into the point of view is, I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm burdened about. I know what I'm passionate about. I know what I value. And I am going to create an answer to the questions, to the problems, to the challenges. If no one else does, I'm going to do it. So that's what these are designed to do, transition you from waiting for someone to create a vehicle for you to jump onto, for you to ride in, to you saying, I'm going to start it. Doesn't mean right now you're going to start it, but you're transitioning your mind into that place. So that's what these are designed to do, is to find out what's the one thing, because really, you can't do a lot of things in most cases, and you got to give your whole heart to something. And then you can give little pieces of you to other things. But what would be that one thing that you would give your whole heart to? This is very important, especially during this time when we're in our own homes and not able to come together. You've got to know what movement you would lead, what cause you would give yourself to, what cause you would create the answer and give leadership to bringing the solution, or a solution. It takes all of us. So that's what these are designed for. I've talked to several of you and who are very challenged by these. They've kind of made some of us feel bad about ourselves, or feel like, I should know myself better than this. And I want to encourage you to be gentle with yourself. This is not an easy thing, especially when you haven't made that transition in your thinking, or transition in a way of being, or it just, it's not easy. Trust me, I know, I've been there. All right, I have been there. But let me tell you, when you figure it out, when the Lord enlightens your heart and mind so that you know, it will bring a lot of other things in your life into order. All right. So I want to encourage you to keep at it. If you haven't picked it up in a while, pick it back up and let's get going on it. Push through the discomfort of feeling like I should have an answer to this and I don't. Push through it. Something else I want to say is, I'm not looking for spiritual stuff. If you tell me something about worship and prayer and evangelism and blah, 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 I'm not looking for that. All right? Because whatever mission God has given you, I'm going to go back to the homelessness thing. If God has given you a solution that you can bring to help lessen the burden in our community on homelessness, you are going to use your worship and prayer and teaching and prophetic voice in helping to resolve that problem. So I'm not looking for stuff like that. I'm looking for feet on the ground right now, everyday things that you would do. Is it children with disabilities? What would you do? How would you do? Is it the parents of children with disabilities? Is it people with Alzheimer's? Is it the caregivers of people with Alzheimer's? What would you do? And remember, you will use your prayer, your prophetic insight, your ability to worship, your intercession. You will use all of those while you're serving out that cause, while you're leading out that cause. I'm going to use Minister Vanessa as an example. Minister Vanessa, in her job as a caregiver, caregiving is something that is just such a part of her. She does it really without thinking. So she didn't really realize that this is just my thing. All right, this is what it is. And when she is taking care of people, oftentimes people who are in their final stages of life, she is able to, in many cases, not all, she's able to pray with them. Prophetic insight helps her to know what's going on with them. She reads the word to them. She tells them Bible stories. So you see what I'm saying? She's able to use all of those things that we typically see and make a focal point inside the church, she uses that in the homes of the people that she's caring for during their final days on this earth. What a trusted gift, all right? What a trusted mission God has given her so that she can minister to people, whether they are believers or not, whether they are churchgoers or not. She's able to minister in prayer, the word, worship, intercession, encouragement, exhortations, prophetic insight, while she is helping them transition from this life to the next life. All right. So these are the things I want to encourage you on. Now, talk about how you're progressing through them. Talk about how it's making you feel. Talking about clearing up any confusion. And if you're someone